Hey, friends, welcome to the Real Herbalist podcast. In this podcast, I talk to real people who are joyfully working with herbs in their home. I hope to really just demystify herbalism as something that's difficult or scary and remind you that you already are a natural born herbalist. My name is Erin McMurtry, and I'm a health coach, a home herbalist, and an artist, and I'm excited to introduce you to some of my friends. So today we're talking with Wes, and he is a real herbalist. Wes, thank you so much for being on the podcast.
Wow, thank you, Erin. That's quite the introduction there. What is the definition of a true herbalist?
Well, to me, the definition of a real herbalist is someone who plays with herbs. So if that's true, you are definitely a real herbalist.
Thank you. That's very nice of you to say, because there's so much knowledge out there. So it's like, where do you begin and where's the source and where's the governing body of herbalism?
Right. Well, there isn't one. And so that's something I think is helpful for people to know too. And I think that's one reason why people feel often intimidated by herbalism is because they think there's some governing body or protocol around it, around calling yourself an herbalist. But I really want people to know that being a human being and simply playing with plants is actually what makes you an herbalist, and that it's in your bones, it's in your DNA, it already comes naturally to you. We've just been so divorced of our relationship with the earth that we've forgotten. You're somebody that's remembering that. And so that's why I'm so excited to have you here and share a little bit about, who you are and what this journey has been like for you.
Thanks for all that, for all the affirmation too, to know that you don't have to have necessarily like clinical whatever to be considered that. So but I do want that knowledge, and someday maybe. So my name is Wes Whitehouse. I'm from central Illinois, from a small town, Midwest, and it's all just working class people around here, and obviously like a huge agricultural community everywhere. So like farming is huge here. And like the two main crops that surround us everywhere is soybeans and corn. All the different jobs that I was on in those 9 years throughout central Illinois, one was like right down the street from where I lived. And it was Monsanto at the time. I know nothing about the business. I'm very ashamed, honestly, to work for them. And so it's been really just like a tearing of your soul almost to know that, you're a part of this corporation that's done some not good things, and I don't want to represent that, knowing that like my values and my actions like aren't aligned, and then struggling with like, who am I as a person really? And what do I really want to do?
Thanks for sharing your story. And I think that's, the beautiful thing that maybe you felt connected to in my story is that I think that oftentimes when we go through really hard things, especially like ego death type experiences, something that you think is like your identity kind of gets taken away and you're like, wait, who am I? Those are huge opportunities for growth and actually finding who you are, because when we're comfortable, a lot of times we don't ask ourselves those questions. So I can really relate to, just your story. Not that the same thing happened in my life, but that I had an ego death of like, whoa, who am I? I've actually had a couple of them and they're very uncomfortable. But on the other side of that is this discovery of, who you really are underneath all the things in your life that, you're attached to, basically. So anyways, I appreciate your story and I just honor you for your transformation and where you are. And I'd love to hear, when did you start making medicine?
Once I started to watch her stuff, of course, yeah, that makes sense. I want to try that. So not only is like a very cool hobby, but like it legitimately ends in results that are good for you. Like you could put it on your body and like, wow, I made that, So
fun.
Yeah, I've never, said the words, these things called to me, but as I'm getting further into this world and trying to find my community, I'm hearing these different words that people say. And one of them is this call to me. I knew right away that I wanted to do something with frankincense and myrrh, because Christian, born Christian, and me and religion right now are not like that. But I do believe there's tons of good words. So I love the idea of Jesus. So anyways, so that, in that story, these three wise men bring him frankincense, gold, and myrrh. So that story has always been incredibly special to me. So that's what I ordered: frankincense, myrrh. The other one was ashwagandha. So somehow ashwagandha landed on that order. I think there was one other, chamomile. Yeah, I think I got chamomile.
Yay! I love chamomile. I feel like
Those were
chamomile
the
is one of my
first.
friends.
Yeah, I put it in stuff usually at night, obviously. So
you
but yeah,
started
I just started.
with those 4.
Yeah, well, I thought it would be cool to make like a frankincense infused oil. So I did that. Yeah, so we both share that love of that, along with many other things,
So
obviously.
beautiful. And it has so many medicinal, magical uses, and it smells incredible. I mean, you can't go wrong with frankincense.
That was incredible to infuse that one. With oil, I think I did, I'm not sure, like jojoba or sunflower with just a few chunks of, frankincense resin, and just let it sit. And, I was like, what, when this is done, it's going to be special, because I consider this special. Put it on my body, like on my skin, and felt like I was, kind of anointing myself somehow, because I wanted to, this is all in this journey to self-heal. Like, that's all I want to do is heal myself. And so that's how it all kind of developed, I guess.
What would you want to share with someone who's interested in playing with herbs and plants, but they're like, ooh, I don't know, like this is too hard, or I'm scared, or like, what advice would you give that person? Or where would you tell them would be a good place to start? Like, what would be good advice for someone who wants to start playing with herbs, but they feel intimidated? What would you want to tell them?
Go watch your channel, your YouTube channel. That's what I would tell them. Well, watch what she's doing. She knows what she's doing. Or at least she's having fun with just learning.
Yeah.
Which
Totally.
it seems like that's what I'm doing.
Well, I mean, I would personally love to create a community where people from all over the world could connect around just coming back to the earth, natural healing, natural remedies, playing with the plants. Like for me, this is something that is in all of our roots, and it's just we've forgotten. And so, I mean, I would love to create a community where people can do that. So hopefully, that's on the horizon.
I think one of the most, and no doubt about it, probably the most amazing person I've ever heard speak on the planet. One of them is Adriana Ayales.
Oh,
She is,
yes. I love her. Anima Mundi.
yeah, Anima Mundi. So, like, Adriana is just like a wealth of knowledge, and anytime that I can, like, tune into her message, I do. Like, same with you. It's just like, right, these folks are incredibly connected with themselves and nature and stuff, and so it's really interesting to just tune in and listen to what they have to say.
Yeah, she's an awesome resource. And for those listening, I will put a link down in the description for her Instagram, which is just, there's so much information. I mean, you can learn so much from her Instagram. And she's also on, I don't think she has her own YouTube channel, but she has videos on YouTube. But she's an amazing female in business. I think she's from, forget
She's
what.
from Costa Rica.
Costa Rica, yeah.
This world is like, this is what I want to be a part of. And so I would recommend people to go check out Anima Mundi.
I would love for you to share, what are your top favorite herbs? Like maybe 3 of your favorite herbs that are great for beginners to start with that you would recommend.
Yes. I was hoping you would ask that question, Aaron. I'm ready. I'm fully prepared. This is jojoba oil and calendula. So like this is my favorite combination right here. I would recommend anybody that wants to start with, how pretty it is. So historical medicinal uses of calendula. Throughout history, calendula has been hailed as a potent plant medicine known to detoxify the liver and gallbladder. Calendula petals have also been reputed as historical topical aid for cuts, scrapes, burns, and bites. It's the best feeling oil or combination on your skin, as far as I'm concerned. But I'm still early on in discovering things. So far, jojoba calendula is probably my favorite.
Awesome.
So many. So that's not a fair question.
The perspective that I would want to share around health and that I want to as a health coach and a holistic health coach is that our life isn't just like the things that we eat. It's also the things that we do, the things like our work, our relationships, are we having fun? Are we connected to the earth? All of these things, right? I think for me, the herbs checks a couple of boxes. It checks the creativity box, it checks the connecting with the planet box, it checks the being present and like being in the moment and taking care of myself, giving myself self-love, right? It's not just like, oh, just take the thing and then it'll fix everything. Like that's the Western medicine, that's the allopathic approach to medicine. Like, oh, here's this pill and you don't have to change anything about your life. And like, it'll just put a band-aid on it, right? So for me, the herbs is a piece of the whole holistic pie of how we get to take care of ourselves, is my point.
I know, and I'm thinking back now to like the beginning of this call where you reminded me like, no, you're an herbalist because you're just playing with herbs. That's what you're doing, and like it's pretty simple to do and really fun. Like that's what I enjoy because I love gardening first of all, obviously, and then plants to begin with. So I've always had a garden and stuff, and plants not necessarily, but a garden. So these days I'm very into that sort of thing. So yeah, I would recommend like anybody do this. Like you said, it does cost a little bit of money. It's a fairly expensive hobby, right? Like, but not really. Some of the stuff can be expensive because you want to use good quality products, source them. There's nothing that says you can't go read a book and figure out what are the medicinal herbs and plants that grow locally. To me, your local natural department resource should have like local indigenous plants and just figure out on your own like what's around me. Plus, you have Google too.
Yeah, but it's cool to be able to find out what's local to your area uniquely.
Yeah, absolutely. So that should be the local Department of Natural Resources in anybody's area, wherever you're located. They should have on record like exactly what all the indigenous plants are.
Back to what you were saying about like how much money it costs and whatnot. I just want to say, like, as a woman, and for all the women listening, you know how expensive buying like a face cream can be, right? Like all your face creams and anti-aging and wrinkle this and whatever, like that shit is expensive. Like it can be very expensive. Not to mention being sick is extremely expensive. So, I mean, for example, like you can go out and you can buy some oil. You can buy a jug of olive oil for like, I don't know, $10 or something. You can buy a bag of chamomile for like $15. And then you have chamomile oil to use on your skin for the next couple years, And it's like, we really are in such a consumer culture where we're taught to like go out and buy things that other people make, to start to do things yourself and to start to create yourself with your own hands in your own home, knowing what's in it, right? Without all these weird toxins that are messing with our bodies. Like it might seem expensive when you're first getting into it, but in terms of like how you're actually like the long term of saving money on buying these products that actually are harming you and actually taking care of your health in the here and now as opposed to not, and then having to down the road when you're however old dealing with health problems. It's like we need to learn how to take care of ourselves with the little things so that the little things don't turn into big things. That's when we run into issues, right? And so it's like we've forgotten kind of how to take care of ourselves in the day to day. And so I just think that like we need to just take our power back and remember that with these plants that are just abundant and available to us, we can help ourselves here and now without spending a lot of money, without ingesting harmful toxins and medicines that have weird side effects that do other things. So it's just like, it might seem expensive on the front end, but on the back end, you're actually saving so much, and you're connecting with the planet, creating, and taking care of yourself and loving yourself. So
Well, yeah, well said. Once people like understand, like, okay, these two ingredients in this bottle here can do all this stuff for you. Like, so many health benefits are associated with these things, and there's it's just two ingredients. And so, people, I don't know if people are prepared to believe the simplicity of that.
right.
But I hope that they are. I mean, I think that they are. I think, like you said, people are starting to wake up, and I want to believe that a
Absolutely.
lot.
And I
Yeah.
mean, you're the perfect example of that happening, like 2 years ago, if you would imagine that you were having this conversation like 2 years ago, you would have been like,
No.
what? That's not who I am.
Hey, all the guys that I know are like, "What the hell? What's wrong with you? You're playing up what?" Yeah. So, but I don't care about that anymore.
Yeah.
The whole macho, like, that's for ladies, which is something that I wanted to talk about too.
Yeah.
Obviously, the majority of people that are associated with this world are women. I think I'm like treading very lightly and like understanding that. I don't want to intrude on other people's worlds. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like this is a special thing for women, and in general, and not to say this is exclusive. Like, I don't want to be like coming to a party I'm not invited to, basically.
You're invited.
Okay, I'm coming.
You're definitely invited. Are you a human being? You're invited.
Cool.
That's my
Yes,
take.
I am.
That's my take. All humans welcome. And I honor you for being a man in this space. You're right. There aren't a lot. I mean, there are obviously, but it does seem like it's a majority of women. And I think it's awesome that you're here, that you're doing this, and that you're just owning it and giving permission for maybe other men who don't maybe feel welcome or don't know that they can do this too, or maybe they're not as just connected with the earth as you are, and I think
Well,
you just owning it and being yourself is a gift.
thank you. I appreciate that. For me, it was like a lot of stripping away my ego. That's where I'm
Ah,
at my best. It's like, forget all the preconceived notions of who you're supposed to be.
right.
Just, you know, let the tasks kind of take its course.
Yeah.
And that's what, let the path that is guiding you just keep on guiding you. Don't worry about what's going on around you.
But also, with this, what you're talking about now, I think it's important to highlight the burden that men have, which is this idea that they have to be like super hard and
Mm-hmm.
masculine and like not be pussies or whatever. Like, they can't have emotions, they can't feel things, they can't, it's like, that is just so sad that men have to deal with that, this like hyper, it's like the wounded masculine. Like, masculine energy is beautiful and has its place in all of us, in men and women, but when you go so far into the masculine energy that there's no space for the heart and for feeling and for emotion, which is just part of being a human being, that creates issues in our world, and we're all seeing that.
Yeah, Aaron, that's where I was at for a very long time. You know, was stuck there, thinking I'm a man. I work. I don't. And this is all I do. I'm a tough guy and blah blah blah. And it took gigantic chunks of probably missing out on like good memories and things that I should have been a part of. It's just a never ending journey of learning. I think my deal is try to learn from your mistakes and don't keep repeating them. That's kind of where I'm at today.
Yeah, beautiful. I mean, it takes a lot of courage to look at that stuff and look at the parts of you that you're not proud of, and heal and grow and allow old ways of being to die. Old ways of being that are no longer in alignment with who you want to be or in the life you want to have. And that's what I see in what you're sharing, is that you had the courage to look at that and to let the parts that don't align anymore fall away. And that takes a tremendous amount of courage and strength. So I just want to say I honor you and I see that in you. And that's a beautiful example for the men and the men in the world who maybe haven't been ready to do that yet. So I just hope you
Well,
know that, stand proud in that, because you're awesome.
thank you, Aaron. I appreciate that.
So before we wrap up and complete, I just want to ask you one more question, and I would love to hear just how has working with the herbs and the plants made your life better?
Aaron, that's a good question. How have they made my life better? Well, first of all, you're like you've said, your skin needs moisturize. It's the biggest organ on our body, and I've tried to take care of my skin. I haven't always done a great job at it, but like so the way I use these oils is every time I get out of the shower, I just put them all over my body. So I moisturize like my entire body every time I get out of the shower, and my face, everything, just cover my whole body in oil on a daily basis. And and it's usually jojoba, calendula, but there's a ton of different mixtures that I use. So I think number one, it just moisturizes your skin, because if you do not take care of your skin, that's going to be a problem. So many people, women, are kind of told this is how you take care of your skin. These like natural ingredients, it's just really two ingredients. There can be more, but it's some of the best skin healthcare, anything, medicine. This is, I would consider it medicine. And I know you do, and I do too.
Awesome. Thank you for being here and for sharing your journey. And is there anything else you want to say or share before we complete?
Yeah, I figured this would be an opportunity to tell folks, I do have in the works like a small business idea, right? And so it's not just an idea, but it's now an actual name on record in the state of Illinois. So, so I'm a long ways from there, but Stillwater Oil and Tea is the name I came up with. I'm obviously well aware that I have a ton of work to do, but I'm progressing towards really just getting everything licensed, branded, the product labeled correctly so that you know exactly what it is, and then a booth at like local fairs, and then hopefully a brick and mortar in downtown Bloomington, Illinois.
Wow,
That's future goals here.
that's
That's like,
amazing.
well, thank you. Like that's where I'm at.
Cool. Well,
Yeah,
just like beaming you with love and support and good vibes for your new business. And
thank
just
you.
so proud of you for your transformation. And I'm grateful that you came on to tell your story.
I really do revere you as like somebody who is gifted. There's no question, you're incredibly gifted. So thank you for sharing um, with the world your gifts again. So, and for having me on this call. So I'm glad we could make it happen.
My pleasure. Thank you, Wes. Grateful for your friendship and for having you as someone in my life who I can geek out on plants with. It's so fun.
Oh, yeah. It's ridiculous, isn't it? Like, we the biggest nerds on the planet. Sometimes I feel like that's probably true,
If this
but
is
it's
nerdy,
okay.
then I love it.
Yeah. Yep. No, I love it too. And there's always something to learn on your channel. Like
Mm,
anybody can just tune in and go, wow, I didn't know that. I could take care of myself better like that. Like
yeah.
all the different things that you're doing naturally is a really good direction. I think people should go in, especially women. I know you're trying to, get that message out there. So thank you for doing that.
Mm. Thank you. It's kind of interesting because it's like what I'm trying to teach other people is like you don't have to be some professional or fancy whatever to play with these herbs, right? Like it's your birthright, it's in your blood, it's in your DNA, it's in your ancestry all the way back. And so sometimes like me teaching this stuff, I have to remind myself that same thing that I'm reminding everybody else is like, you know, I'm enough, I know enough to share like my knowledge. And so it's just helpful to know that it's helpful to you and other people. And I'm just grateful to be able to share what I do know. And I'm also completely humbled that there is so much to learn, that I know like this much in the realm of what's possible. So I'm a student too, and I'm still learning. And I'm just grateful for these plants as well, to have, to get to learn from them. So
Absolutely. Yeah. And, you're a great resource. And once people get into this world, there are so many great resources, so many different avenues, which that's, again, can be kind of daunting for
yeah,
people who really want to stay focused and organized. So it's really like which, which I don't know, which drink you want to choose, or which page you're going to turn to. It's your choice,
yeah,
really. So
totally.
there is no perfect answer, I've discovered. So
Totally. I think that's great advice. And just like we were saying, follow what is calling to you. Like follow what herbs are, like you, ashwagandha popped into your world and you're like, oh, and you went down that path. And just like follow what feels fun and what feels good, and just like have fun with it. It doesn't have to be so serious. It doesn't have to be so
yeah,
hard. Just have
yeah,
it be
yeah.
fun and easy.
I like your message at first, because that's, again, like the words that you're saying now really convinced me to be like, I can do this. Like you can pick up, um, for example, like mint grows a lot and on my property, so I'll have a lot of mint, and so I love mint. And some people consider it like it's a weed, it's a nuisance. No, it's not, and it's all around us, So stuff like that, it's right there. Lavender, again, like it's such a good plant. That's usually right around all of us, so or can be easily.
Woohoo! We love
Yay!
plants. Yay! Awesome. Well, thank you for being here. And thank you to those of you who are watching or listening, sending you so much love. I'm looking forward to seeing you on the next episode. Bye.